McCarthy. He just acts that way with that somber, indictive aspect, like this guy's the evil one. But I will say he's a terrorist because what the guy has done basically says my goals is demolition, blow up health care, blow up the continuing resolution, bring the government to a standstill, and then make us forfeit on the national debt. Your thoughts, Steve? I know you're not that kind of Republican. I don't know what you make of this guy.
No, well, Chris, I disagree with your use of the word terrorist and its application to him. What he is a demagogue. He's irresponsible because I think when we use the word terrorist, we apply that to the Boston bombers. We apply that to the September 11th.
I've said political terrorist. That's what he is.
I'm not comfortable with the word. But
don't use it.
Clearly very irresponsible.
Use your words. I'm comfortable with it.
He's politically couldn't be more irresponsible on this. This is as stupid a political strategy as you could possibly conjure up. It will be a disaster for Republicans who have a great chance, I think, of picking up seats in the U.S. Senate. And remember, we've given up 5 U.S. Senate seats over the last 2 election cycles by nominating this cast of characters out there that have been rejected in states, even Republican states, Missouri with Todd Akin, for example.
Let me go to war with you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Chris.
The purpose of a terrorist, and he used different means, obviously, than blowing bombs, is to cause chaos and to bring down a government because of the chaotic situation where nobody has any trust in institutions. You tell me how that's not what he's trying to do here. Bring the government to default so it's not paying its bills. Stop the government from functioning and bring down bills that have created institutions like Obamacare that have already been decided upon. Blow them up after they were brought into law. Blow up the government's ability to pay bills that has already run up. If that's not causing chaos, what is it? And lack of trust, which is what terrorists do.
He is causing chaos. And Chris, I'm not going to come off of this. I don't like the use of the word and it's in the way that you're using it.
Because he's a fellow Republican.
I think that when we talk about these words, he's not from my wing of the Republican Party. Certainly.
I'll tell you,
what I think he's doing is dangerous and wrong. And I think it will have terrible political consequences for Republicans.
Just to support my friend Steve, because we share the same barber, I want to tell you that I also am uncomfortable with the word, only out of respect for the victims of violent terrorists.
Out of the same respect, I make the point political. I've used the term political terrorist. I will continue to use it. For shorthand, I'll say terrorist, but go ahead.
But here's another point, which is this notion, and this is the point that Coburn and so many conservatives have made. They're not going to defund Obamacare. Obamacare has a self-perpetuating funding source, and its funding is largely accounted for outside of what they can affect.
Why are they threatening to crash it?
Because I think
for terrorist reasons.
Well, they're threatening to crash it. They're threatening to crash it, Chris, because Ted Cruz has been running for president of the United States since the very moment the Texas primary was called, when he defeated Dave Dewhurst. And he's running for president. He sees this as his running lane. He's going to whip up all the people on the far right in the Republican Party on this. And what is so demagogic about Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz, certainly intellectually, he understands that this is the wrong thing to do. He understands that we have to pay the bill on money that we've already spent. He's smart enough guy to understand the consequences to U.S. financial markets, to global markets, to have a sense of the unease this is creating in the European Union with our trading allies.
Okay, let me ask you a question,
terrible
Steve.
politics, because Republicans will pay a heavy price for this.
Do you think that Ted Cruz, who I've accused of being a political terrorist, do you think he fears default on the national debt? Do you think he fears the government shutdown? Do you think he fears those things in a reasonable, rational way, or he's playing with them because he doesn't care if they do blow up? Steve?
I think his ambition supersedes his care about them. But it's not conceivable to me, when you look at his academic pedigree, that he doesn't understand the consequences of the United States defaulting on its debt. There are no small number of House Republicans, for example, when we went through this 2 years ago, that I have no doubt simply don't understand enough about global markets when they go out and talking about that there was risk-free, no consequence ability to fall on the debt. I'd put Michelle Bachmann in that category.
Well, just remember, Pat Robertson went to Yale Law. I wouldn't be caught up on these political or academic pedigrees about people with great degrees like that. I wouldn't assume that they're being any better than the rest of us. Your last thought quickly, David. Do you think he knows that he might just blow up the world and it doesn't bother him?
No, I agree with Steve completely. But the question isn't what Cruz does. The question is how many Republicans in positions of responsibility are willing to march lemming-like behind him over the cliff for this country, over the cliff for their party. And I think that's the real question here. We know who he is. The question is how many people who truly do know better and who in the past have behaved responsibly are willing to follow him. And I include in that the minority leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell.
They're watching him plant the bomb, and they're not stopping him yet. Anyway, thank you, David Axelrod.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve Schmidt.